Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin today by acknowledging something we all know too well, the weight we carry. Whether it's something visible like the physical strain of our day-to-day responsibilities, or something invisible like the pain of past wounds, the stress of unspoken fears, or the weight of unhealed dreams, it's real. We've all felt it, some days more than others, but it's undeniable. And for many of us, we carry that weight for far too long, letting it dictate how we live, how we love, and how we move in this world. But what if I told you that the weight you're carrying doesn't have to stay with you? What if I told you that there is a shift, a change, a way to move forward without carrying the burdens of yesterday into tomorrow? You see, there's a weight that no one can see, the weight of our internal battles, the struggles that don't show up on the scale but are heavy nonetheless, the hurt that no one knows about, the shame we hide behind smiles and laughter, the regrets, the doubts, the disappointments. They weigh on us like an invisible chain, and we start to believe that this is just the way it is. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. You can break the cycle. The weight you've been carrying can be shifted. It's a process, yes. It's not easy, no, but it's possible. And it starts with realizing that you don't have to carry everything. You were never meant to carry everything. You were meant to rise. And rising begins when you make the decision to release what you don't need. The first step in that process is acceptance. Accept where you are. Accept what you've been through. It doesn't mean you're giving up or settling for less than you deserve. It means you are acknowledging the reality of your journey. And from that place of acceptance, you can begin to move forward, lighter and more aware of the power within you. But here's the thing, the power doesn't come from holding on, it comes from letting go. It comes from surrendering the weight of your past, whether it's past hurt, past mistakes, or past fears. When you choose to release that weight, you make room for something new, something better. You make room for healing, for peace, for growth. And when you begin to heal, you will begin to see that your journey, no matter how painful it has been, is taking you somewhere. The process of healing is real. It takes time, it takes patience, but trust me, healing is happening. Whether you feel it today or not, it is happening. And here's where the shift happens. Shifting your weight is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's a sign that you have the courage to trust that something better lies ahead. Shifting your weight is an act of liberation. It's saying, I don't have to carry this anymore. It's freeing yourself from the things that are keeping you stuck. It's stepping into your true self, your true power, and living from that place of authenticity. Today, I challenge you to make that shift right now. In this moment, let go of the weight of what's been holding you back. Let go of the doubts, the fear, the shame, the guilt. Release it. You don't need to carry it anymore. You were made to soar, not to stay grounded under the weight of your past. So take a deep breath, feel the shift, and walk forward lighter, walk forward freer. And know that as you do, you are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. Thank you. I want to start by inviting you to take a moment and reflect on something we all know intimately, the weight we carry. It's easy to overlook sometimes, especially when we're rushing through life, trying to meet deadlines to keep the plate spinning, to put on a brave face for others. But it's there. You can feel it in your shoulders, in your chest, in the quiet moments when you're alone with your thoughts. It's the weight of responsibilities, expectations, and dreams that sometimes feel more like burdens than hopes. The weight of all that you've gone through, all that you've endured, all that you still carry from your past. It doesn't always show up in obvious ways. It doesn't always come in the form of heavy bags under your eyes or aching muscles. Sometimes it hides beneath a smile or gets tucked away behind the busyness of your day-to-day life. But make no mistake, the weight is there. The emotional weight of carrying old wounds that haven't healed, the mental weight of worries that replay in your mind every night, the spiritual weight of feeling disconnected or uncertain about your purpose. Even the weight of expectations, those unspoken rules that others place on us and that we sometimes place on ourselves. It's like we're walking around with invisible chains, holding us down, keeping us from moving with the freedom we deserve. Maybe it's a broken heart that still aches long after the moment has passed, or a fear of failure that paralyzes you every time you take a step forward. Perhaps it's guilt from something you wish you could change, or regret over opportunities you feel you missed. And let's not forget about the weight of perfectionism, the pressure to be more, do more, show more, leaving you feeling like you're never enough no matter how much you accomplish. We all carry some form of weight. Some of us carry it proudly, believing it's part of who we are, that it's something we just have to endure. Others of us try to hide it, cover it up as if we can outpace it or outrun it. But the truth is, no matter how well we try to disguise it, the weight we carry affects us, our relationships, our choices, our confidence, even our joy. And what's most tragic is that often we don't realize that we have the power to shift it, to release it, to move differently in the world. But what if I told you that you don't have to carry that weight forever? What if instead of allowing it to define you or limit you, you could make the choice today to shift the weight? What if you could rise above the burdens that have been holding you down and start walking into a new season of freedom? It starts with recognizing that this weight does not have to be your constant companion. You have the power to move differently. You have the power to change the narrative, to rewrite the story of how you walk through life. Today, I want to talk about that shift, the shift that can free you from carrying the weight of your past, your fears, your regrets, and your disappointments. There is a weight that so many of us carry, and it's not always visible to the naked eye. It's not the weight of a heavy bag on our shoulder or the exhaustion of a long day's work. No, this weight is much more subtle, much more insidious. It's the weight of our unseen struggles, the ones we hide from the world, even from ourselves at times. These are the burdens that nobody can see, but that sit heavily within us, shaping the way we move through the world. It's the emotional weight that we try to suppress, the things we're afraid to speak aloud. It's the quiet anxieties that race through our minds when no one else is around, the self-doubt that creeps in when we close our eyes at night, the feelings of inadequacy we sometimes wear like a cloak even though no one else knows they're there. These unseen struggles are the ones that weigh on our hearts, the pain of a relationship lost, the grief of dreams that seem out of reach, the constant tug of war between who we are and who we wish we could be. They come in the form of guilt that we can't shake, shame that we try to bury, and fears we can't seem to outrun. They often don't have a clear face, but they show up in how we carry ourselves, in the way we struggle to find peace, in the way we hesitate to trust. They shape our every decision, our every interaction, and they influence the way we see ourselves. And yet these unseen struggles are some of the most powerful weights we carry. We carry them in silence, often believing that because no one else can see them, they don't matter. We convince ourselves that if we just push through, if we just put on a brave face, we can make it. But in reality, these invisible burdens are like a slow drip wearing us down bit by bit until we wonder why we're exhausted or why it feels like we're stuck. We tell ourselves we don't have the right to complain, that others have it worse. But we push our pain to the background, bury it under busy schedules and constant distractions. But that weight, those unseen struggles, they don't disappear. They're always there like a shadow shaping our every move. I want you to think for a moment about the struggles you carry, the ones no one knows about. Maybe it's a fear that you're not enough. Maybe it's the pain of losing something or someone that you love deeply. Maybe it's that lingering doubt that no matter how much you achieve, it'll never be enough to fill the void inside. These are the struggles that show up in the quiet moments when no one else is watching. They are the scars that aren't visible, but they cut just as deeply. And let me tell you, just because they're unseen doesn't mean they're any less real. But what if you stop pretending that these struggles didn't matter? What if you acknowledge them not as something that defines you, but as something that's a part of your journey? These unseen burdens don't have to stay with you forever. You can face them, acknowledge them, and start the process of shifting that weight. No longer do you have to carry these invisible burdens as if they are the only thing you can ever be. You are more than the sum of your struggles. You are stronger than the weight you've been holding on to, and you have the power to set it down. The struggle may be unseen, but your strength, your resilience is real, and it's time you start walking like it. We often find ourselves carrying a weight that no one else can see, a burden that lies deep within our hearts, minds, and souls. It's the kind of weight that doesn't show up in the way we look or the way we move. It's the quiet struggles we battle in silence, the kind that nobody else can understand just by glancing at us. These are the unseen struggles, the things we carry that remain hidden from view but shape our lives in ways we can't always express. Maybe it's the anxiety that takes hold of you when you wake up in the morning, or the moments of fear that keep you up at night wondering if you're enough. Maybe it's the silent pressure to meet expectations that no one even knows you're trying to meet, expectations you've placed on yourself or that have been imposed by others. But either way, they leave you feeling like you're never doing enough. Or perhaps it's the sadness you carry from losses that no one ever truly understood, the heartbreaks that didn't have a chance to heal fully. These struggles, these invisible burdens, are the ones that linger with us. They don't announce themselves, they don't demand attention, but they leave their mark. They find their way into the way we hold ourselves, the way we interact with others, the way we hesitate before taking a step forward. They whisper doubts into our minds, reminding us of the things we wish we could forget, replaying our mistakes or missed opportunities until it feels like we're stuck in a loop. They weigh on our hearts like a heavy cloak that we can never fully take off. And the hardest part, because they're not visible, because no one else sees them, we often feel like we're alone in carrying them. We feel like we have to hide the weight of our struggles behind a smile or a busy schedule, pretending like everything is okay, when inside we're exhausted from the silent battle we fight every single day. But just because these struggles are unseen doesn't mean they aren't real. Just because no one else can hear the voice inside your head telling you that you're not good enough, or see the tears you've hidden, or feel the pressure of expectations that feel suffocating, it doesn't mean those struggles don't matter. They are real, they are valid, and they are powerful. These burdens might not be visible, but they are present. They shape your thoughts, your choices, and your experience of the world around you. They keep you from feeling fully free, from fully stepping into your power and purpose, because they hold you back with invisible chains. But I want to remind you that these struggles don't have to define you. They don't have to control you. The weight you carry in silence doesn't have to be the weight you carry forever. You don't have to hide behind the mask of "I'm fine." You don't have to pretend like everything is okay when it's not. It's okay to admit that you're struggling, that you're hurting, that you're not okay. The moment you acknowledge those unseen burdens, you take the first step toward releasing their hold over you. You take back the power they've stolen, and you start to move from a place of healing, not from a place of hiding. We all carry something, whether it's fear, doubt, grief, or past trauma. But the fact that it's unseen does not make it any less significant. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And just because no one can see it doesn't mean it doesn't matter. You don't have to walk this path in isolation, carrying everything on your own. The moment you allow yourself to be real, to be open, to confront those hidden struggles, you give yourself permission to begin to heal. It's in that space of truth, of vulnerability, of acknowledging the weight you carry that the shift can begin. That's where the freedom starts, when you stop pretending you're okay and begin to honor the struggle, not as something that defines you, but as something you can overcome. You are stronger than the unseen weight you carry, and you don't have to carry it alone. The struggles that are hidden in your heart don't have to keep you stuck. You can choose to face them. You can choose to face them. You can choose to let them go, and you can choose to rise above them. Your strength is not in hiding your struggles. It's in acknowledging them and choosing to move forward anyway. And I promise you that strength, though unseen by others, is powerful beyond measure. There comes a point in all our lives when we realize that we're caught in a cycle, a loop that keeps us repeating the same struggles, the same pain, the same disappointments. We try to break free, we make plans, we set goals, but somehow we end up back in the same place, feeling like we're not moving forward. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, it can even feel like we're stuck in a never-ending cycle of going through the motions but never really getting anywhere. Maybe it's a cycle of self-doubt, of fear, of repeating mistakes from the past. Maybe it's a cycle of holding on to things that no longer serve us, whether it's toxic relationships, old regrets, or unhealthy patterns of thinking that keep us trapped in the same place. And the hardest part is that we know this cycle is keeping us from becoming the person we are meant to be. We know that something has to change, but it feels like every time we try to change, we end up right back where we started. But there's the truth: you can break the cycle. You don't have to keep walking in the same worn out paths of pain and regret. It might not happen overnight, and it might take more strength than you thought you had, but you have it within you to make a change. The key is realizing that the power to break free lies in your hands. The cycle you've been stuck in doesn't have to be your forever. You are not bound by the things that have held you back in the past. You don't have to let the past dictate your future. The first step to breaking the cycle is acknowledging that it exists. It's the moment when you stop pretending that everything is fine and admit that you're tired of going in circles. It's the moment when you take a long, hard look at your life, at the habits, the choices, the thought patterns, and realize that they are leading you nowhere. It's not about beating yourself up for where you've been, but about recognizing that you have the power to create something different. This is where change begins, when you get honest with yourself about where you are and where you want to go. But honesty is just the beginning. Breaking the cycle requires courage. It requires the bravery to face the things that are holding you back, the things you've been afraid to let go of. It means letting go of the fear that has kept you playing small, the fear that you're not good enough, the fear of what others might think, the fear of failure. You have to be willing to face your fears head on, to walk into the unknown with the belief that your future can be better than your past. It also means recognizing that breaking the cycle isn't about just avoiding the old habits. It's about creating new ones, building a new foundation. It's about choosing to rise above the things that have kept you stuck, and instead deciding to create a new pattern, a new rhythm for your life. You might have to fight the urge to return to what feels comfortable, but true transformation happens when we step out of our comfort zones, when we embrace the discomfort of growth and change. The cycle won't break itself. It takes intentional effort, and it takes time. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about having the willingness to start again, to try again, to get back up when you fall, and to never stop believing that you can break free. Every small step you take toward change is a victory. Every moment you choose to shift your mindset, to choose hope over despair, courage over fear, is a part of the process of breaking that cycle. And here's the most powerful thing: as you break the cycle, you start to unlock your true potential. The more you free yourself from the chains of your past, the more room you make for your purpose to emerge. You were never meant to stay stuck in the same place. You were meant to grow, to evolve, to step into a life that is bigger than you ever imagined. Breaking the cycle doesn't just free you from the past, it propels you into the future that you were always destined to live. So no matter how many times you've tried before, no matter how many times you've fallen, I want you to know this: you have the power to break the cycle. You can create a new path, a new story, a new beginning. The only thing standing in your way is your willingness to take that first step, to make the choice to do something different. It's time to stop going in circles. It's time to break free. It's time to rise. There comes a moment in life when you have to face yourself, truly face yourself, and acknowledge who you are, not just the person you show the world, but the person beneath it all. It's easy to get lost in what everyone expects of you, in the roles you've been assigned, in the mask you wear to fit in. We go through life doing what's required of us, meeting deadlines, fulfilling obligations, and striving to be who others think we should be. But when we take a step back and look deeper, we find that so much of our identity has been shaped by external expectations, by what we think we should be doing or how we think we should be feeling. And somewhere in the midst of all that, we can lose sight of who we truly are. Self-realization is the process of peeling back all those layers, of looking into the mirror and seeing the truth about yourself, not just the parts you're proud of, but the parts you've tried to hide or pretend don't exist. It's about acknowledging your weaknesses without shame, recognizing your flaws without fear, and understanding that those things don't diminish your value, they only make you human. It's easy to think that in order to be worthy, we have to be perfect, but the truth is it's in our imperfections that we find our strength. It's in the moments of struggle, of challenge, and of falling down that we learn the most about who we are and what we're truly capable of. This journey of self-realization requires courage, the courage to look at yourself without judgment, to embrace every part of your story, even the parts that have been painful. For many of us, this is the hardest part. We spend so much time running from our mistakes, our hurts, and our fears that we become experts in avoidance. We don't want to feel the pain. We don't want to acknowledge the things that have held us back. But when we avoid them, when we push them down, they continue to control us from the shadows. True acceptance comes when you realize that everything you've been through, every hardship, every setback has shaped you into the person you are today. It hasn't been easy and it hasn't always been fair, but it's been necessary. Your past doesn't have to define you, but it's part of your story. And when you learn to accept it, when you stop running from it, you finally start to own your journey. Acceptance is not about resigning yourself to your struggles or your flaws. It's not about saying, this is just who I am and I'll never change. No, true acceptance is about giving yourself permission to be where you are right now. It's saying, this is who I am and I am enough exactly as I am. It's allowing yourself the grace to not have all the answers, to not be perfect, and to still be worthy of love, of success, of peace. It's recognizing that your worth isn't determined by your achievements or your mistakes. It's inherent in who you are. When you accept yourself, you step into a place of peace because you are no longer fighting who you are or who you've been. You are free to move forward, to grow, and to evolve, knowing that your value has never been based on anything external. The journey of self-realization and acceptance is not a one-time event, it's ongoing. As you evolve, as you grow, you'll discover new things about yourself. Some of them will be exciting and others might be uncomfortable. But every step, every discovery brings you closer to the truest version of yourself. The more you accept yourself, the more you step into your own power. You stop holding yourself back. Stop trying to meet unrealistic standards and start embracing who you were always meant to be. There's incredible freedom in acceptance. It's the freedom to release the weight of perfectionism, the freedom to stop comparing yourself to others, the freedom to move in the direction that feels true to your heart. When you accept who you are, you stop seeking approval from the world because you've already found it within yourself. You stop waiting for validation because you know your worth. And that is a powerful thing. Self-realization and acceptance are not about becoming someone else. They are about becoming the most authentic version of yourself. It's about shedding the layers of expectation, shame, and fear, and standing in the fullness of who you are, knowing that you are more than enough. As you stand here today, I want you to remember that the journey towards self-realization, acceptance, and breaking free from the cycles that have held you back is not an easy one, but it's a journey worth taking. You have within you the strength, the courage, and the power to shift the weight you carry, to face the unseen struggles, and to break the cycles that no longer serve you. The truth is, the life you want to live, the freedom you seek, and the peace you long for are all waiting for you on the other side of self-acceptance. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You don't have to have it all figured out to make a difference. All you need is the willingness to step into the truth of who you are, to embrace your flaws, to acknowledge your pain, and to accept that you are enough right here, right now. As you walk forward, remember that your past does not define you and your struggles are not a reflection of your potential. You are capable of rising, of growing, of shifting, and of creating a future that reflects your true worth. So take a deep breath, hold your head high, and know that you have the power to change the narrative of your life. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are a work in progress, and that progress is a beautiful thing. Keep moving, keep growing, and never forget that you are worthy of every blessing, every opportunity, and every moment of peace that comes your way. The journey is yours to take, and there is no limit to the greatness you can achieve when you embrace who you truly are.